We're live. So good afternoon, everybody. This is the Town of Berlin Parks Commission meeting for Tuesday, October 22nd. Before we get to the approval of the minutes, it's the second agenda item, but I would like to introduce our two new members. Introduce yourself to the group.
I'm Corey Davis, my name. I live in Berlin all my life.
Welcome.
So, thank you.
I've been living here for about 18 years, and my two kids enjoyed and still enjoy the parks quite a bit.
Well, welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
It's excited to have you. So for every meeting, of course, we'll put an agenda pack together of some information touching on the agenda items for the meeting. But to begin our meeting, we always just do go through the approval process for the minutes from the past meeting. So in this case, because we did have quite a bit of a delay here because we were trying to fill the positions for the new group. So the last meeting that we had was actually in July. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from our July 2nd meeting?
So moved. I'll second.
Thank you. And all in favor? Okay.
Sure, the little right to me.
Sure.
You didn't notice any misspellings.
So we do have one of our bigger events coming up on Friday, November 8th, which is our Berlin Glow Walk. Last year, if you recall, the meeting was canceled because subsequently there was another walk being held in the park on the same day, same route, same time. So we did end up canceling our event. But this year we do plan to move forward with the Glow Walk. Registration beginning at 5 p.m., walk beginning at 5:30 p.m. Now we realize that it will not be fully dark at that time, but just for clarity, the reason why we do start it at 5:30 is because there is a portion of the walk that does not have sidewalks. So for safety, even though it won't be fully dark, we just do start a little bit earlier because of daylight. We are in need of some volunteers for the event. Specifically directional guides. And what I mean by that is we have a route that we have been using that essentially starts at the park, goes north on Main Street, comes back around down to Buckingham and a little U-turn back. So we have placements of guides at certain corners to direct walkers to continue on in a certain way. So in total, ideally, we would like 6 volunteers. We have a couple of town staff that have offered to join us for the event to also help. So we would just need a few.
I'll come.
Okay, perfect.
I can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Can we bring teenagers?
Yeah.
I got a teenage daughter.
Everybody is welcome.
And even to like help
Sure.
guide and volunteer?
Yeah,
So I can
that'd be great.
volunteer my daughter.
That'd be great, yeah.
If you would like to join us, you're welcome to help and volunteer as well. It's
Spread the word.
yeah, if you know people who, I mean, everybody gets a glow stick. You kind of have fun. There's, some of the families, they got all dressed up with their loop glow sticks, and it was just really fun.
It's
Some people
different.
really got into it. I was,
Yeah, and we'll have the health department there passing out some material. AGH will be there doing blood pressure checks, pre-diabetes screenings, and handing out some other resources as well. So we do have some vendors that will be participating with us at check-in. So
Maybe they don't know, this is with the Just Walk Worcester, which is a health initiative in Worcester County. I think the main focus of it is to reduce diabetic. And if you haven't gone online and looked for the Just Walk Worcester, it's really a neat program. They have, you walk a certain, you make a pledge to walk, and they give out prizes, and you're involved in a walking community, and they do these events all around the county. So don't overlook it as a free thing to do.
yeah,
Sounds like it would be a great scout event.
I think that if the scouts thought that they wanted to get involved with it, I think that the people at Worcester County would love to, we would love to hear about it also, but we do this in the, now are we gonna do another, is there gonna be another walk in the spring? Just
There
walk in the
will
spring?
not be one in the spring this year. We're gonna kind of evaluate the 2025 events to see what we can do and how we can participate. We would like to do another one.
But there
That
will
time
be
of
other,
year is tough.
there will be other Worcester Just Walk events.
Many.
So
Yes.
please get in touch with them.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, and if you would like to come to the Glow Walk, the person who does coordinate the program on their behalf will be there. So
Yeah.
she would be a good resource to talk to if you would like to get involved further. Absolutely, yeah. Again, Friday, July 8th, Glow Walk. If you are unsure, if you can make the event, no worries. We just ideally would like to have about 6 volunteers for it, so we'll put out, well, I'll be in touch with you all to talk about the placement and all that fun stuff as we get a little bit closer.
Didn't you already put a flyer out on?
To advertise the event.
To advertise
yes.
the event?
Yeah.
And
I didn't
you
advertise for
request-
volunteers.
No, I thought you said you needed volunteers.
I believe I posted one for volunteers, but after realizing we only need about 6, I thought maybe just through us and town staff,
Well,
usually.
I hope that we get enough people.
Yeah,
That's my,
yeah, that's the goal.
that's the goal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still far enough away, we could put it on We Heart Berlin if we needed to.
Right, and they're always fun.
I'm sorry that I can't be at this one, I have a really big event at the Atlantic that I don't want to see messed up.
I might be able to help out too. My daughter's a senior in high school and her friends sometimes are looking for volunteer hours, so I can ask if
Sure.
maybe she can bring a friend or two if
Absolutely.
you need extra help.
Okay.
And they can,
That would be
awesome.
great, thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
sometimes if they get their little paper signed, they can get credit for that sometimes.
Okay,
I can't commit to volunteering, but I think I'd like to do the
Yeah.
the walk.
sure.
Good, that's fun.
So if you have any questions leading up to it, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll share any. It's a pretty straightforward event. The planning is really kind of intact, but if you do have any questions, just let me know. We'll go from there. But I will say I do plan to get here or get there fairly quick setup, probably about 4:15, 4:30, since registration does start at 5. For those out there listening to this meeting, you are more than welcome to pre-register for the event. In years past, we've tried Eventbrite and doing it electronically, but we just found that it would be better to contact me directly, and I'll keep a running list of those that look to participate.
So do you have like a map printed out or?
Yes, ma'am.
So everything that you need, people will have that all available?
All
right
available,
there?
and it is actually already on our website. I did upload it earlier in the week,
Oh,
so
so you could go ahead
the
and put
press
it up?
release and the map to see where the walk goes. You don't have to do the entire walk. There are different color directional arrows. Some are 2.5, 3.5, and I believe a 4.5 total route. So there are options for those that don't want to do the whole thing. So exciting. It's going to be our first parks event.
Is there any cost to it at all?
No, sir. The event is free. Yep.
You get to meet your neighbors.
Yeah.
That's the cost.
And go in the dark together. And then we'll reconvene at our first meeting in January to discuss our spring events. Okay, so the next, and really the only other thing that we have to touch on for this meeting, in the middle of our table here, I laid out a couple of diagrams for us. As you know, we have been awarded the Community Parks and Playground Grant for a total of $216,000 to redo or replace, I should say, the large play unit at Henry Park. So Cody, help me out with this. It's the larger one, of course,
Yeah,
that's
it's the-
red and yellow's color.
Yes, it's the
Okay,
older one.
closest to the
back.
courts.
Yep.
Okay. So that is the one that is being replaced, and we have been, the reason why we have some color options here for you is because Mayor Tyndall has really emphasized that we stick close to the colors of the existing courts. So this one here is an aerial view of the courts as they are. The other pieces of paper that are in the center of the table have color options through game time that we can go with that they thought would resemble the colors of the court. So those are the options that they have proposed that we consider, that they think would work for us. However, I do want to emphasize that this option here, which is labeled the West Palm Color Palette, this is the one that they felt most closely resembles the color of the court. So this is a rendering of what the unit would look like in this color scheme. So that is the difference between them.
Not to disagree, but I don't see any green in this at all.
Well, the thing is with the colors too, there's a lot of red obviously in the boards. Red
Yellow, blue.
and red and even yellow fade really bad when
They
it comes
do.
to rotomold plastic.
But they
So I
want to
think-
match it. What's that one?
Well,
This one.
see, I think getting it purple, I think getting just close to a color is more of a clash than a match. And I would say another primary color, like one of the greens, or I like the emerald more so than the other one that came up, but.
Yeah, that was what my eye was first drawn to. Oh, but.
Because it's not trying to match with anything else, it's on its own, it's not blending in, it's still primary color. Not clashing.
I think the primary color that is what we're looking for, and you're right, the hunter green is not as primary, it's a little too dark.
Right.
If you see this bright green color, if, that bright green color, the bright orange, the bright blue, I think that's what would most compare to what they have. And that's, like the dark orange, it doesn't look as bright as like this kind of bright orange. And that's,
I think it's supposed to be this though, right?
I'm not sure.
Because this says West Palm, this is West
Yeah,
Palm.
okay, so this is just a printing disagreement, you think?
I'm under the impression that they used the colors of the West Palm color palette and rendered it based on the colors that are available.
Okay.
So the larger, that is from their catalog.
Yeah,
This is the one that they put
That's
together.
quite a bit different.
I could ask them
than-
to create a new rendering using the predominant colors that are in the catalog,
Just-
unless you feel that another color palette would be better.
Well, since the mayor has directed us to look for these, something that's gonna, be comparable or a match, I think you just have to go, you're right, there's no green in it, but it is a primary color. I think we really need to stick.
Yeah, and I don't think you wanted to blend in
I think-
completely off
I
or
think-
disappear by being an extension of the court.
I think this clashes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I agree.
But if West Palm and
Yeah.
if this is the same as this.
Well, if they
this
painted
does look nice.
the rails blue, maybe.
But
Yeah.
if this West
Well-
Palm is the same as
Yeah,
this West
I-
Palm.
That's why
then this does
I
look
like that
nice.
I know,
personally,
I know
because it's a little bit
obviously
lighter.
the slides.
But
stand
But
out
there is no
most.
green.
More
Yeah.
pastel.
But-
I
But
wouldn't
it's-
want it to blend in, I want it to stand on its own
I
and
think
be
As
out
a
there, but
primary
still not
scheme.
clash with all the other colors.
That's true. It's better to have a primary that, yeah.
Yeah, the smaller ones, yeah.
I kind of like Shine because it's got blue and orange and less green.
I do like that one too. I think this would just be a disappointment if it came to be muted like that, if it wasn't the brighter
Okay.
colors.
Does orange fade?
I'm trying to think of something that we have that's orange. Yeah, I know that existing slides now on that unit are yellow and they fade really bad. They're all cracked and nasty looking. I don't know. I don't know if we have anything that's orange throughout the parks now. I mean, I'm assuming it's better than red.
I don't know, none of them are perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I
It's
mean-
hard because the courts
I mean, there is orange in there.
have a lot of red.
There's
Yeah.
orange,
Yeah.
blues,
It's
reds.
nice to pick up, like the accent colors rather than the primary as well.
I mean, there is a lot of blue, and there's blue on the uprights. There's blue, and we're not just looking at, like, this structure is the main structure being built, but we're also redoing the swings. That's gonna be blue. We're putting another little climber that's going in the corner, kind of up front, that's gonna be blue.
I mean, no matter what, it's gonna look good.
Yeah, it'll
Oh,
look
yeah.
100 times better than what's there now, for sure.
Yeah.
But
And I think that's more important than anything else, but if the mayor wants it to match, that's.
Is that
all we
who,
can say.
the mayor wants the green?
He wants it to
He
match.
deferred it to us. He just, the only, like I said, the only request is that we come,
I'd like to
we use
see
the colors of the
more.
courts.
I'd like to see more of the color palettes.
Now, do we have a time frame on this that we have to have it done by?
Yes, ma'am. The quote that we have committed to, we do need a decision, to provide a decision to game time by Thursday.
Oh,
So we are,
I just don't feel like we have an apples to apples comparison, and the rendering they've given us is just kind of, we're all not happy with the kind of, I mean, it looks like it's shaded, but it's not the colors. Given that the mayor wants it to be the matching, it's not going
You
to
have
match.
a game time catalog downstairs.
Yeah, if it was
So-
one that, that's what I worry, that this is looking more muted than it actually is. If we had the catalog with like the glossy color pictures, it probably
No, I
look a lot
agree,
better.
I agree. Well, even the blue line at the top looks a little darker on that one than it does on this one. So maybe that's just, we're just having a printer's error, you know, but we can't tell. So if those are all bright greens, bright oranges, and bright blues, we're good. If that could be done in primary, you know, I would be, but less green, more orange and blue. I guess that's what you're saying, isn't it, Laura?
Yeah, I don't think like this one.
Yeah, we can have more, you know, but, you know, you do kind of want dark shading, you know, that,
I will say the darker the colors are, the better they will hold up to
Oh,
the sun.
So, yeah,
The
I
yellow
don't
will
think anybody
turn
is, yeah, nobody's for the yellow, I don't think, so
no, I think that's,
we can eliminate that.
Is there another, I wonder if there's another choice
The
that has
dark
more.
color would be really hot on some little kid's ass rather than on that slideboard.
sounds like you're speaking from experience.
Right.
well, these are pretty well shaded with, we have been, well, we're not going to replace, we're going to keep the large overshade, or is that?
That's for the front unit.
That's for
Yeah,
the
that
front,
will
yeah,
stay.
so that'll still be there,
Yeah.
okay. I'm just confused.
And the front unit is green and purple, just to give you an idea of, you know.
Yeah, so
That's
green.
gotta go with already what's there anyway, so a little
Okay.
green isn't gonna hurt.
Right.
Green wouldn't hurt, no.
All right.
And then purple, out of nowhere.
Yeah, well, yeah, there you go.
2005.
Well, you know, these are cycle, you know, the cycle of colors that you go through with everything, you know, purple
Whatever.
comes up.
Like if that other green one's gonna hold up better, and it's gonna go with the purple guy on the other side.
So do you guys want to take a vote? I mean, is that,
are we thinking that emerald wouldn't work?
That's just so much green.
Yeah.
yeah, green is like the.
Well,
the
but they
main
have,
color.
you know, you do have these other, the little more orange option on the
Yeah.
down part. Well, see how you've got the orange on the down part. It doesn't look like there's much contrast between green and the blue underneath. It looks very dark, you know, it just doesn't, on this one, it just looks like,
I do
They
like
get
the
kind of
blue.
glossy.
Yeah,
The
I was
blues
gonna
in
say,
here.
the West Palm palette, this is ultimately the color palettes that are as shown in their catalog.
Okay.
The electronic version of the catalog.
okay.
It does look better over there.
Yeah.
It really
So
looks
maybe
much
this right
better
here
than
just
what,
says
in that one.
Would you like me to ask them to correct or revise their rendering to look
If this,
more like the catalog?
I just want what's the accurate color.
Oh, man, yeah,
Whatever's
plus
in
you-
the,
under
whatever's
the
in the
time frame.
catalog doesn't matter.
You need to have this by
What the
Thursday.
plastic color looks like. If you could send a sample of plastic, keychain of plastic that we could see, I would be much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said
I mean,
it's
just-
Thursday's the deadline.
I mean, they could take a picture of it and they could send it to us. I would,
Okay.
Yeah.
That one looks
I mean,
better
we-
in
if
that
we look at the
rendering.
catalog,
I
it's-
Yeah, look at that.
The West Palm.
Yeah,
That is
it is.
the picture of the catalog.
so
Yeah,
that would
that's
be,
the
that would be
shine.
the most accurate.
It would.
Yeah.
Okay.
well, then I think the shine is probably our best.
And then look at this
palette.
West Palm one.
Yeah, that's, oh, okay,
They're
yeah.
similar.
They're
They're
very
very
similar.
similar. It's just the blue, yeah, the West Palm and the, from this is very nice looking.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't like their rendering yet.
Okay.
but-
Exactly.
but,
Let's go with that. Should we go with
Okay.
that? Everybody,
West
do
Palm.
you like that?
Rendering
Yep.
in the catalog.
I'm
Colors
partial
in
to
the
emerald,
catalog.
but
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's a lot of green in it too.
I understand.
Now,
I
are
just
they-
think that'll blend in a lot more with the rest and it'd be like a psychedelic place for the,
Yeah.
for the kids. As they eat the mushrooms as they get older.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we have a mushroom in this one, do we? I'm not sure. No, there's one.
There could be, that's right, I forgot they made those every now and then.
Oh, they do, they make those little things you can play
And
on.
water parks and all too.
All right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we're between the Emerald, from what I'm hearing, we're between the Emerald and the West Palm of the catalog,
Yes.
not the rendering. So we'll toss the rendering aside. Do we
Yes.
want to take a formal consensus vote as to which we prefer, since we do have the whole group present? Okay. How many would prefer the color emerald as shown in the catalog?
For them, yeah, that's the one I like.
Okay. And then the West Palm as shown in the catalog. Okay. All right, so what I will do then is I will ask them to correct the rendering to reflect more of the colors as shown in the catalog, and then I will send it to the group via email for review as soon as possible.
Thanks, Kate.
You got it.
very much.
Sure. All right, so that is the bulk of our items to address
We
tonight.
sailed right through that one, that was pretty good.
Come January, I
Not
will
really.
say
We can get it set
I
up,
do
yeah.
expect,
It's gonna be more work for her.
I've been notified that they're looking to perhaps hold a pickleball event at the parks this spring. So I do believe we'll have a gentleman here to present that information to you at our January event, and we'll discuss a couple other things then. But this will be the last time I meet before the new year, but hopefully we'll have a good show turnout for our November 8th event.
There is one thing that I'd like to bring up that's off subject.
Sure.
But I go to the park a lot.
Yep.
And I don't know how many years I've been on the Parks Commission, but since the very beginning, I've been asking about trees along 113, both for Stephen Decatur Park and for Henry Park, because, you know, to me, when you're walking along, a park should be peaceful. And as soon as you get to the part that's by 113, traffic is coming along there, and it's, to me, ruining the peaceful feel. The people that are working out are breathing the fumes of Route 113, and I feel like it would make a nice barrier for children and pets and everything. And we keep talking about putting some trees there, but I really feel that it should be planned with a professional, especially now that we're doing the new flagpole and that whole entrance. I'm just wondering how we can see this through. How can we move that into a priority position?
Do we have a budget of anything to work with this kind of bringing that up? I mean, do we know, is there any money
Months
to
ago,
spend?
Ms. McElroy from the horticulture group proposed a buffer plan to us. Do you have a status on that, or do you know if that's progressed any further?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I just feel like we need a plan instead of just putting trees along there. And I feel like it should be pretty dense, just to kind of block that out, because I think a park should be, you know, a respite. And that is just completely taking away, and I think it's the biggest thing that takes away from both of our parks. And kids are playing basketball next to 113.
Yeah.
You know, trees put out oxygen. I just think that's better to breathe than the car exhaust. And it's noisy.
Can I ask a question? I just have heard people talking in the community about where the Wawa is going, and that some people have said, questioned the trees, like they took the trees down, do they have to replant the trees? Because when we built our houses, I don't know about you guys, but when I built my house in Berlin, if we took trees out, we had to put them somewhere else and arrange something. So I wonder if there's a way to work with that. I know this sounds naive, but like maybe they have to replace the trees, and maybe we can have the trees put
Well, they probably already have all their permits, and I would think that that would be part of the
That would be on
permitting.
their permits, yes.
You know, when you
If there's
apply,
any
they're gonna have to say,
reforestation.
these are what you have to,
Mhm.
and people, and I think it's a shame that we've lost that, but it's too late.
Yeah,
It's already been, it's a done deal.
yeah.
They're already gonna build it, and it looks so weird when you go to, like, when you go to make that left on Main Street, it's so weird now because it doesn't look like you're turning in the right spot.
Yeah.
But I just think it's, you know, it's.
What if we researched, and again, this may sound naive, but like Wawa's coming to our community, like maybe they have a community fund or grant or something when they go into a new community, maybe they would be willing to pay
Well-
something towards a parks project.
Unfortunately, I'm not sure if that project is one, I don't want to speak out of line, but I don't know if that project, because all the permits have been issued and the project is underway, I'm not sure what we could do
Mhm.
since things have already been.
Is this a wholly
But you're saying,
town-approved
like, try to
project, or
pressure
is it
them
a Worcester
to-
County project?
That's
Donate
exactly what I'm
permits.
saying.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Wawa is all town, all Berlin?
Primarily, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so
I mean,
they would have to follow whatever stormwater management we have. And preferably, it's not just going to be a concrete, I mean, you know, when this was all permanent, this should have gone through. Shouldn't just be a concrete, you know, thing going out into a field. It
Well,
should be
even if
something-
it is, there is underground stormwater management, and if that's in the plans too, it could be all.
It has to be some kind of stormwater management.
Right,
for
and
it to
just like
exist
where
in Berlin.
dumpsters is,
Unfortunately,
there's
these-
underwater
These
stormwater
issues are
management.
not under the purview of our commission.
No, but
so-
this, if you are interested in that, that is something.
Sure.
But as it's going up, you know, I mean, you can always call, make suggestions to Wawa Corporate. I mean, it hasn't gone in yet. They have not put the building up. Write letters, get online and write letters to
I
Wawa
wasn't- I
Corporate.
wasn't thinking of the trees going there, I was thinking about like their
Fine.
community, to the community.
Hey, if you're buying them,
Well,
like.
yeah.
Like you
you're
took
going
some
with-
out, that contributes some back.
It
Yeah.
would still
Right.
be nice for them to have, to know how important that is to Berliners. If you care about that, they say, we'd like for you to plant more trees back. Please do that. And they, you know, if they want to, corporate wants to do it, that's fine. They're very lucky to be where they are. That's all I know. As far as we go, yes, we can ask them for money.
But bringing it back to the parks, how can we move that to, would that have to be, you know,
The tree, now we're going back to the tree buffer?
Mhm.
Okay.
how can we get a tree buffer there?
I'm thinking we should involve the horticultural group, because they did come, like I said, they did present a tree buffer plan to us. So I'm just not sure what the status of that is, so how about, can we ask, are you still the same liaison?
Yeah.
How, can we ask them to maybe come to our meeting in January? If there's an update that we could share, and we could work together on that?
That gets back to what I was asking also, how much money do we have to work with?
None.
Not a lot.
We start, we
So there's no
funds.
budget,
Well, we
we're
try
just
to get
spending money we
grants.
don't have? or-
No, every year
Right.
and this is not, this is like, you're talking about doing it through the town and through, but are you talking about grants for this also?
Well, I
or not?
believe that their plan was through grant funding, wasn't it?
A lot of what we do is through
No, it was
grants.
just-
Right.
And we
it was
make
just
a
through-
wish list every year, and we move things
It's like
around, and you'll get to
14 trees or
vote on
something.
that.
Yeah.
Right.
And suggest things, and,
Yeah, but I think what she's talking about is more than what that's
What they
gonna
were
cover.
planning. Okay, well, maybe we can get a revised plan from them, and then
And-
go forward
Well, but-
as to how we can enhance that more to fit what we're looking for.
Well, we really, using that information, we really need to get a landscaping plan. We need to get a design.
for over there, we,
For the whole area, with, the, you know, reckoning, and it obviously has to be done with the state of Maryland, because they're in charge of that whole drainage area there.
I would definitely say before you, one thing to keep in mind is state of Maryland, or state highways right of ways, their stormwater system.
Mm-hmm.
Especially over at Henry Park, the fence that's there now needs replaced. So, I mean, just all things, maintenance, other things to consider, like, we have to be able to get equipment through there. So making like a tight buffer, you know, just things to consider. I mean, it's,
All of
it
these
makes
things
sense.
would, you know, but I do think we
Yeah.
need a professional plan. I don't think it's something we can do
Well-
ad hoc, but
well,
we'd have to
I
ask.
could speak to a friend of mine that owns Yard Designs that he could,
I think we have to involve the council and mayor to get that whole,
Maybe you do it preliminary.
to get it paid for. I mean, because I don't think we could get a volunteer to put in all those hours, which I think it's a great idea. I think we need a professional landscaping plan, and then we may not be able to do it all
we
at
could
once,
do
but
it
we can do it.
sections.
We can
If
do
we
it
had a
bit by
plan.
bit. If you have a plan, then you know you're not going to be stepping on each other's toes. Like these trees that we were supposed to be getting, which I don't know if, I don't think they ever went in, as we had talked about last year, didn't we? So these are the kinds of things we would love to have. This is where they're going to go, and it's going to be done on this
A
date.
lot of the trees there are aging and and a lot of had been removed the last
A lot
few
of
years.
fallen down, yeah.
Well, let me do some research too, because maybe perhaps there are some grant options that I could pursue to assist us with the funding. And I can propose that to the group in our first meeting in January.
Thank
Because
you.
then at that point, believe it or not, we're already coming into our next fiscal year, so that would be.
This would be good timing
the-
for
the-
us.
The grant windows would be opening.
Well,
That's
and
great,
getting the
so-
horticultural committee on board so that we are all working towards the same
Yeah.
thing. It was a great plan what they did at Burbridge Park, and that they did it,
Yeah.
I mean, seamlessly with all of our own work, but we're really talking about a bigger plan. It's a
Sure.
big deal.
It is.
So-
It
I
would be
will-
a large number.
I will say that if you're planning on hiring somebody to design like a professional landscaper, if it ends up that we can't get grants to cover everything, your money is not going to go as far as if it's something that is done in-house or something that is done.
Absolutely, I
So-
understand that, but I'm just saying, that we can, if we have a plan, you can say, this is something we can do in-house, this is something that we don't have the equipment for, or we don't have the manpower for. This is just a way of planning. I don't know what the plan's gonna be, but I think if we start with a plan, like you said, I think that it'll give us a start, and then we can
And ultimately,
anticipate some costs.
If there are
and-
grants that are available for us,
Yeah.
we would need a dollar sign to know what we should be applying for in the first place, so.
Now, is the horticultural, no, it's a committee, it's not, it would have to be like We Heart Berlin,
I
because
think you
they're,
might be right, that is a lot for them.
Yeah.
They have so much,
Yeah, and
they do so much already.
oh, they do,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Who does?
it's kind of like
horticulture
it's kind of like a gray area for them. I feel like, because I feel like this is more under the purview of the Parks Commission than it is really them. I mean, I feel like they are more
To be
pollinator gardens. Originally, it was the
Beautification.
beautification committee. This is more of a,
It's a
more of a
larger-
straightforward, buffer area tree planting.
Sure.
It's not as much
Well,
a,
we can
Well,
work
they
with
don't
them.
have to.
Yeah.
If they were looking to
Yeah.
pursue that plan that they
Yeah.
proposed to us, we could then take it a step further with the Parks Commission and
yeah,
grow
Yeah.
on that.
Right, it's just, we just have to start somewhere.
right.
Right. Yeah.
I just
Well,
want to.
I'll do that then. I'll get some information together and we can
We can talk about
discuss
it.
further in
January.
January.
It is so pretty there though.
Yeah, I love it.
I do too.
It's so pretty.
It would be nice to have something nice on the other side of I mean, at the other park,
Sure.
because that doesn't have a lot of vegetation over there.
Where's that?
Oh,
Henry
special
Park.
permit, yeah.
I would say
Oh, it's got
definitely
a
from
nice, it's got a pretty good.
experience,
wall.
before you plant a buffer zone at Henry Park, I would look at replacing the fence over there, 100%, because that fence is in really bad shape.
Yeah,
And
and that
it's,
could be a danger.
and it's constantly getting damaged, it's constantly, we're having to repair it. I think if you set a new fence, that would be a good start to then maybe putting a buffer on the inside of the fence.
On the inside.
Having recommendations of the kind of
There's no room
fence.
on the outside, that's their right of way on the outside of the fence.
Having a recommendation of the kind of fence that would be appropriate in your experience would be very helpful. I think at the time, that's what we had, that was what was available. And we really wanted to delineate the park from the highway. And that was, people, I guess they thought that we were keeping people in, but it was mostly,
Yeah.
I do not want children running out in the middle
Sure,
of the highway.
sure, yeah,
It's
it's
How
just-
is it,
I don't know, not sure, but
Over 20 years.
whatever we go with, definitely not aluminum next time. Because you can just go up and bend the bars apart.
Oh, yeah, but that's also safety.
I mean, I feel like a chain link fence, while it would have been ugly, would have served the purpose of a barrier better than the aluminum fence, because you can literally just go up and pull a section
And a lot
down.
of them are bent.
Yes, and then we can't, once they bend them enough so where we can't put them
They
back
just,
up.
they
They have to
they become
replace
a
them.
permanent opening.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for your recommendation.
Okay.
And there is an opening there for some reason, and I don't know why. I don't know if anyone knows. There's like a pedestrian opening, and there's no crosswalk, there's no,
Well, there never was a crosswalk, so this was a way for people to actually get to the store if they wanted to go or whatever,
Yeah.
but it was in you know, we didn't know.
yeah, no, I never understood why there was an opening to the highway with no crosswalks or
Well,
no,
people
you
used
know.
to, that's how
Yeah, it's
people used to
It's
get
like an invitation.
everywhere, I mean, you know, that's just what they
Seems
did. But those were some fierce times.
You know those parts
It
better
was
than
cross,
anybody.
don't cross at the
I guess that's why
crosswalk,
you're
because
here.
there is
Thank
no
you.
crosswalk.
Did anybody hear back from Mr. Gillen on the proposal to add the extra verbiage to the sign, the flag?
No, actually, I will follow with the mayor's office. I did send them the letter on our behalf. Has a sign been put up for the flag donation, the funds?
No,
Okay,
not yet.
I'll follow.
We have the missed utility tickets in.
Okay.
I think Jimmy said it was first week in November, something
Oh,
like that. We were
wonderful.
planning on starting on that.
Okay,
So all the prep work's done. We're just waiting on the
okay,
concrete and everything.
thank you. I will follow up on that. I have not heard back from them.
The museum has lots of these little Stephen Cater biographies that were written by Doris Taylor years and years ago. And I'm going to ask the museum if they'd be interested, if you're interested in handing out these little biographies. They're just a little paper thing.
Sure.
But do you know who Doris Taylor was? Big dead silence. She used to have the treasure chest when it was up where the hair wrap place is now, Dream Catchers is now. And she was very involved in the museum, she was here forever and ever. And she wrote a little biography of Stephen Cater, so it's kind of a nice little thing. I'll talk to them about having them, when we do a ribbon cutting or whatever, it would be a
Okay.
fun thing to get
Well, it's
out.
also something that we could have at the Glow Walk if you would like to distribute those for the participants.
Well, I will ask if they would
Okay.
like to do that.
Perfect place to get it
Very
out.
good, very good. Okay, thank you. I will ask them.
Sounds great.
Because we have a stack of them. Now, once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
Because we're not reprinting them, but
Okay.
we still have them. And I think people would enjoy reading
Yeah,
them.
yeah, absolutely. That sounds great. Anything else from the group? Okay. Motion to adjourn?
Motion, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thanks. Perfect. Thank you all, so I'll see you hopefully.
Thanks.
many of you.
Thanks, you guys.
You're welcome. Thank you.